Alright. I apologize for the drawings. Ha. Not really. And so, if you were drawn, you're Drew. I don't know what I'm saying. Where we at here? Okay, so then we got, your, basically your, you got this mushroom cloud, right? It's your, sitting on top there, and then out of the cloud descends these lightning bolts, and they go into the ground, into the bone and the rock. And so then within that you have, within like the body, right? Am I doing it? Where is it? No, it's not doing it. It just did it. You have the body, and so then you have the blood. Maybe make that a little less. And so you have that system there, and then you have the sorry, and then you have the spirit, if you will, and it's sitting around. And if anyone had seen that, there are instances where there's something red, if you will, that holds the information. And so the idea is, what if there's a kind of, where is it? And so you got this kind of grid looking thing, maybe welcoming you in, if you will. And that might not be the best thing to do, or maybe it is. But the idea is your soul, your soul, okay, all this stuff is pretty much similar to the energy of that grid. And so what, actually I guess I just go like that. Whoa. And so be able to do control or shift or something. Anyway, and so that same system, you know, being up there, that might have something to do with your memories, your persona, kind of like the player of the system down here. And there might be a method to getting it out, which is not passing through that screen system fence, which would be like a sieve, which is just going to disengage all that consciousness equilibrium and redistribute it into the field, basically at like a buffer grid, like an energy grid. Like it's just going to bounce off and create a spark and take that spark into itself and use it for fuel. And so maybe the key is not necessarily motion across the grid as much as it is a gradient where the mind and the spirit come into a kind of equilibrium, and like I said, expand in a way that redistributes space-time or time-space around you, because the only thing that could grow the way you can is something beyond the physical time-space grid, meaning that's pretty much your way. It's not by moving, but then redistributing yourself as something much, much larger. And so, but the key then is not using your mind, but bringing the two together to the point where they create this coherence, and you become one. And then I'm pretty sure it has to do with two people that have to be matched. And often we don't match ourselves. It's not how it works. You don't pick who you're matched with. It never happens that way. And you can imagine how weird that is then. But the two systems then create that space-time system that's beyond the grid and goes outside, because you can't go outside of a whole system if we're in the broken system. If we can't go outside as the broken part of ourselves in here, we have to go back out as the whole part. But that's also kind of this weird, sorry, I'm starting to do these like circles, and the weird system, because what if people get redirected and spun around and brought into these worlds that they're not really feeling like they're supposed to be in? And who, if that could be possible, who's doing that, and who's willing to mess with stuff like that, and so on. The other aspect is that the spirit here is pretty much just kind of playing a game with this body mind here. The body mind can never truly grasp the knowledge of the spirit unless the spirit shows itself to it, which means the spirit goes and goes all in the brain, and you feel what your chest feels, but through your mind. And you don't feel it in your mind unless you've done that, because the mind is kind of like in discord or dissociated from reality because of something that happened where we were probably one whole consciousness and somebody split us up through some type of means, whether it was the body itself or the wars that were enacted while we were in the bodies that then broke that spirit apart so that it couldn't remerge with those souls through trauma. All right, thank you.